and welcome back to another episode of Action Movies for Dummies, where we watch the movies so you don't have to. I am your host, MJ, and the man with the info, Shakes.
Hello, everybody. How you doing today? All right, today we are going over a movie called Colombiana. Came out in 2011, starring Zoe Saldana. Oh my gosh. I have always known that she is an attractive woman, but, and I rarely use this word, she is sexy in this.
Yeah.
And it is rare to find an action movie with a lead female who can actually act.
Yeah.
Let's just let's just go all action movies with a lead character that can act. This was a good movie.
Solid. Very solid.
I remember loving it in the past, and honestly, I thought there was more action in it than there actually is. But it's a solid movie. It was directed by Olivier Megaton. Are you kidding me? Is he in Witsec? What is going on? He sounds like
a Megatron.
He sounds like a diabolical bad guy. Like the Avengers would be like, "Oh shit, he's coming here!"
Take off running.
Right? What a great name. And, it was co-written and produced by Luc Besson. So this is a French-made movie.
Okay.
A lot of people originally giving reviews on this movie were busting on it, but then they were like, no. This is the best Euro film that we've gotten in America in years, and I would have to agree.
Absolutely.
I'm going to throw out some other names from this movie. They're going to mean nothing to most everyone. Michael Vartan, Jordi Molia, Lenny James, which you would remember from Fear of the Walking Dead.
He does a bunch of other stuff, right? But the latest thing that I seen him in was the latest James Bond game, First Light. He plays your training instructor in that game. It's actually pretty sick.
I think he was in a show called Jericho. No, he wasn't. Never mind. Scratch that. Then there's a lady named Amanda Sternberg and Cliff Curtis. If you saw Cliff Curtis, you would know exactly who he is.
Yeah.
He's been in a ton of stuff. This movie is basically, it's been done a billion times. As a child, your parents are killed, and your only mission in life now is to kill the people that killed your parents.
That is a tall as time.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I kill you.
Yes.
Such a French way. Uh-huh.
Yes. That's how they do it, I guess. The budget was $40 million.
Oh, shit.
It grossed $72.3 million, which is all right. And the video and home sales pulled in an additional $16 million.
Whoa.
And if anyone remembers the 1994 film Leon the Professional, it's a long way back. It was a good movie from what I remember. Does it hold up? I don't know. I haven't seen it in like 20 years.
We'll review it eventually.
I would hope so. It stars a 12-year-old Natalie Portman.
Yes, it does.
And her parents are killed, and there's a contract killer that lives across the hall from her in her shitty apartment. And the whole reason this movie was written was to be a sequel to that movie.
Really?
Yes, because of studio issue rights, they were forced to rewrite the movie and make it a standalone. But it was originally supposed to be a sequel.
Wow.
That
honestly is interesting as hell.
I did not discover that until about a half hour ago. Somebody reached out to me and gave me the info, and I looked it up, and I'll be damned.
Wow, that is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The only part of Leo the Professional I remember is the ending scene when the SWAT tries to take him down,
Uh-huh.
because that's a part of pretty much every action compilation you'll watch. But
Yeah.
he somehow swings upside down in the doorway and shoots. He's just
Yes.
hanging upside down in the sick shot. But I'm like, that's not real.
The thing I remember the most about the movie was all he had was a plant. And
Yeah,
he carried this plant around with him every time he had to move.
everywhere he went. Yeah,
And, like, he was the loneliest guy in the world until 12-year-old Natalie Portman showed up in his life, and he ended up kind of adopting her, and then he taught her how to be a trained killer.
right.
Which tracks. I mean, that's what this movie would have been.
All right, man. We done talked this movie up, brother. You ready to dive in?
Yeah, let's go, man.
All right. So the movie opens up to a very quick montage of a sky shot of different villages and different criminal activity that seems to be like news shots.
Yeah,
After the
real nice neighborhood.
After the title screen, we then see Colombia, 1992. We then see men with guns as two men sit and talk. And they seem to be parting ways. They say they love each other like family and that they will miss each other, as Marco, who's played by Jordi Mula, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was the bad guy in Bad Boys 2. He has a very unmistakable face.
He just has a face for bad guys.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Like,
he really does. Some people look like bad guys, and he looks like a bad guy. And he stands by and listens. The men then share their drink and toast to the future, but give each other a look as they sip their drinks. One of the men asks if the business is in order, and the other man passes them a drive and says, "It's all there." The first man asks if there's copies, but the man says no. They share a hug, and the second man leaves. The first man gives a nasty look as he walks away and tells Marco to kill that bastard. As the second man gets to his car with his henchman, he freaks out. He knows that the first man keeping his cool was all an act, and they maybe have an hour to get out of town.
He's like, I wish he would have just yelled at me. Then I would have known. But he's trying to be hell cool about it. And now we got to get the fuck out of here, man. He's going to kill us all.
He kept his cool, but the second he got to his car, he was like, "This is shit. We're fucked. We gotta go."
Fuck it. Run for your life.
Run for your life. We love you, Samuel. His henchmen rush him home, and he tells his wife and daughter that they have 10 minutes. The wife begins to pack as the father searches for a chip and finds a card and gives it to Cataleya. The chip, he
what
says
a cool
that,
name.
Yeah, it's a very cool name. It's also the name of a flower. But he gives Cataleya the chip and tells her that this is her passport, and gives her the card with an address on it and tells her that if she ever finds herself alone, to show this card to the man at the gate. He then gives her another slip of paper and a chain for protection, and tells her to never forget where she's come from, and gives her a hug. Men in a car approach to talk to the father's henchmen, but the henchmen say that he's not available. The father sees this and gets his family ready to go. As they bust through the back door, another car approaches and forces them back into the house. He tells his wife that it's too late and that they need to get ready, and she runs into the back room. He kneels in front of Cataleya and tells her that he loves her very much. The henchmen in the car in the front of the house then get a radio to do it now. The henchmen then look at the father's henchmen and say, change of plans, open up fire, and kills them instantly. The father pulls out a handgun from underneath the table, and the mother comes back with bigger guns. The mother takes a minute to look Cataleya over, but the henchmen approach, and the father pulls her away, prepping her to fight. and then we hear gunfire as we see Cataleya sitting at the table. We then see henchmen with guns find Cataleya, but she doesn't move from the table. Marco walks in, sits across from Cataleya, and tells her he's known her since she was born, and he was a good friend of her father's. Sees that he's given her his chain and says it's good to remember who she is. He then explains that her father had a chip that belongs to his boss, and if she knew where it was. She shakes her head yes. Marco then says if she gives it to him, his boss would be very happy, and says she can get anything she wants, and says, "What do you want?" Cataleya then pulls a knife from under the table and stabs him in the hand, pinning his hand to the table, and leans in and says, "I want to kill Don Luis," and runs off as Marco yells in pain.
So badass.
It was fucking sick.
She's like 8 years old, man. And she just pinned his hand to the table with a knife. Okay, so her mother comes to her and says, "You need to pack your things now." And she's like, "I'm already packed, Mom."
She's squared.
Like, yeah. Man, I don't know any 8-year-old children that are just like that prepared.
Yeah,
that's
she's fucking squared.
Astounding.
Yeah.
Like, they're good parents. I don't care if they're drug dealers. They are good parents.
They prepped
and,
her. Yeah.
In the director's cut, she watches her parents die.
Oh,
like
shit.
In this movie, she only hears the gunshots.
Yeah.
But in the director's cut, I have to see the director's cut now.
She actually sees them get gunned
down. She actually sees them die.
Which just, I mean, and
that amps it up.
They should have kept that in the movie, because that would have just fanned the flame.
Unless it's so brutal, they just had to take it out. I don't know, because I haven't seen it.
I mean, what year is this? 2010?
11.
It shouldn't have been that bad, right? She runs into the bathroom and climbs out of a window as a henchman chases her. Cataleya climbs down a little bit and tucks herself in the ledge as she hides from the henchman, and the henchman tries to shoot at her but misses. As she hides, she swallows the chip for safety. Marco tells the man to stop shooting at her and reminds him that they need her alive for the chip, and then sends a parkour master after her. He literally leaps out of the window and just doesn't stop jumping.
There are so much parkour in this scene. I actually wrote down, why is there parkour overload? Because they go from like 20 stories up, just flipping and jumping one story at a time, all the way to the road.
As Cataleya climbs the rest of the way down, the henchmen start to close in behind her. We then get a small chase montage of Cataleya running through the village, and these henchmen jumping and parkouring from rooftop to rooftop, and Marco and his men are chasing behind in bikes and cars. The funny thing I thought about this, she keeps leading these henchmen through people's houses.
Oh, this was hilarious. It's like she comes flying through the window and everybody's like, what?
And what's hilarious is this is not the only time she does this in the movie.
No. And people are like, hey, what's the big idea? Yeah. You know, but nobody does anything.
Cataleya is almost boxed in by Marco and his henchmen, but she uses her quick thinking in a very small girl body and slides into a sewer drain. I thought that was fucking sweet.
That was so genius. And none of these men can fit in that hole.
No,
but she fit easily.
Yeah, the little tiny girl body.
Yeah.
And Marco and his men, pissed off, shoot at the drain. But Cataleya has clearly gotten away. I was like, why did they shoot at the drain?
You need anger management classes, bro.
Yeah. Well, Marco's a bad guy, so yeah, every bad guy needs anger management classes when you think about it.
Yeah.
Scene jumps to Cataleya climbing out of a manhole cover, and I thought this was so bizarre because
it's bullshit.
She climbs out of this manhole cover, and no car comes near her, no car swerves, no car stops short, she doesn't get hit by a car, they just drive around her.
Dude, this is bullshit. Have you ever tried to lift a manhole cover?
Dude, you need equipment.
There's no way little Zoe is picking that shit up from underneath. I don't care about the cars. Let's start with the fucking manhole. Bullshit.
She finds her way to the address on the card that she got from her dad and shows it to the man at the gate. He then takes her to a man and she gives him the chip by throwing up on his desk, because you remember she swallowed it for safety.
My favorite part is when she sifts through it with her fingers until she finds the chip and she hands it to him.
Yeah. The man puts the chip into the computer, and this info is so shocking that he sends everyone out of the room, and then he begins recording. He asked if she knew what this was, and she said, yes, my passport. Smart.
It's badass.
Yeah,
badass.
Smart. Scene cuts to Cataleya arriving in Miami with a woman. As soon as she gets her passport stamped, she asks if she can use the bathroom. The woman waits outside, and Cataleya breaks out of a window. Scene jumps to...
Man, can you list all the movies where they're like, I have to go to the bathroom?
And then they break out. It's every single time.
Oh, my God. There's so many movies where, like, I got...
But how many bathrooms have windows?
Yeah, think about that.
Think about that. Think about that.
If you're going to be in an action movie... One thing I gotta have is a bathroom in the window.
With a window.
Window in the bathroom.
Every time.
Oh my God.
Scene jumps to Cataleya at a bus stop, and she's getting a ticket to Chicago. Scene jumps to the bus pulling into Chicago, and Cataleya is then taking a train. She's then walking it down a dark and sketchy street, and a man sees her and says, hey, like, what are you doing here? She gives him the slip that her father wrote. He looks at it, and then goes to talk to a man that's torturing another man in a chair while others watch. He tells her uncle Emilio that Cataleya is here to see him. The man puts Cataleya in a room, and Emilio walks in, and they hug as Cataleya is finally able to cry. And I put that part in there where she's finally able to cry because this girl, since the moment her parents died, has stayed straight-faced the entire time.
This scene was emotional.
It was.
I felt relieved because she got with Emilio, family. And she finally got to let go. This girl, this was the first movie she'd ever been in. And she did an amazing job.
Yeah, fantastic. Because like I said, from the second she sees her parents die to the second she gets to Emilio's arms, she shows no expression at all. And then the second she wraps her arms around Emilio, you could tell everything just comes out.
She's finally secure.
Emilio says he thought that she was dead, but she's safe now. Scene cuts to Cataleya waking up, and she's being greeted by her grandmother and sits down at the table with Emilio to eat breakfast. We then find out that Emilio's son was killed. He sees a picture that she's drawn and asks if she wants to be an artist. But she said she did, but now she wants to be a killer. And she asked Emilio, can you help me? And he says,
sure.
Sure. Yeah, it wasn't like a fuck yeah, I'll help you. Hell yeah. He was like, okay, you're 12, but I guess.
Yeah, sure. Let's do this. I'll make you a killer.
I love this scene right here. This part is amazing. Scene jumps to Cataleya and Emilio going to a school.
Yes, the principal.
Yes, going to school. And Emilio bribes the principal to get Cataleya in. As they leave, Cataleya stops walking. She tells Emilio that this school has nothing for her, and that if he doesn't want to help her become a killer, that she'll do it herself. So Emilio then pulls out a gun and just blind fires into public, hitting random cars and sending a crowd of people just into cover. He then turns back to Cataleya and tells her, I can teach you how to be a killer, but you'll be dead in 5 years. If you want to be a killer who can survive, you need to know how the world works, and you need the basics from school. He then makes her make a choice between a gun and a book bag, and Cataleya chooses the bag. And then he fixes his hat, tucks his gun as police are screeching up, literally screeching up. They just walk away.
Casually walk away. He is freaking untouchable, man. He's untouchable.
Yeah. These people are nothing to him.
No, then everyone fled. I mean, of course, there's some random dude just shooting at random things. He wasn't even aiming for anything.
And the craziest thing to me was, this was 20 feet from a school?
And broad daylight.
What the fuck?
School hours. I mean,
he did not give a shit. Like you said, unfucking touchable, man.
But what a life lesson, huh? Boy, he set her straight.
Yeah, and she learned quickly. She learned quickly.
She did. Yeah.
Scene jumps to California 15 years later, and we see 2 cops eating lunch and having small talk as a red Mustang comes flying in and smashes into the front of their cop car. A very drunk Cataleya, now played by Zoe, comes stumbling out of this Mustang. The cops hop out and arrest her. They drag her into the police station and plop her down in front of another cop. He can't find her driver's license, but she has a library card. It has a fake name. He goes over her charges and she falls asleep on his desk. She says she's going to throw up, but he hauls her off to her cell to sober up. Zoe played the drunk lady so well.
And
oh my goodness.
Drunk. She's happy drunk. She's not like angry drunk. She's like it is a thing to see.
Scene cuts to a prison bus arriving at the police station. A bunch of marshals pull a man with a bag over his head into the police station. They put him into a cell, and one of the marshals gives another one some coffee and tells him to stay sharp. Scene cuts to a cop bringing a passed out Cataleya some coffee. She sees she's passed out, she leaves it, and as she walks away, Cataleya wakes up from her fake drunk sleep. She pulls her wig off and ties up her hair. She then sheds her dress and then pulls up her action suit that was actually rolled into her stockings. I have no idea how she did that. Sick.
Women's clothes are weird. I stopped trying to understand them years ago.
She then uses the pin from her hair to pick the lock. She then takes the spoon from the cup of coffee and makes her way through the police station.
Bruh. They gave her a metal spoon. In jail.
Yeah, no, they'll give you a plastic all day, baby.
That's just not how the world works.
She then takes the spoon and gets a cup of water and plants a trap in a fuse box and then sets her watch to a timer. She then climbs through a vent in the ceiling, which always happens to be in action movies. We then see her crawl through the vents as this water is dripping onto the spoon. We see her plan work as the cup drops onto the fuse box and cuts off the AC for a second, and she takes this second to slip through one of the fans. But as she slips through, one of the cops comes back to cut back on the AC, and she gets her head through just as the fan cuts back on.
Now, my favorite part of the scene was when it hits the fuse box and everything in the building shuts down. The one cop looks at the other and goes, "Not again." I'm like, what?
How many times has this happened?
How many times? This is just something you deal with all the time?
Cataleya makes her way to another vent and climbs down. The cop that is supposed to be watching the overnight prisoner walks away to grab some coffee and pee. As he's finishing peeing, Cataleya comes up behind him and roundhouse kicks the shit out of him and knocks him out. She then holds his body up to the camera so that they will open the door to the cell block. And once the door is open, she just lets the body drop. She spider walks in. She takes the guard's gun and keys and enters the cell with the prisoner who's asleep. She then wakes him up by tapping the gun on his forehead and tells him to open up his shirt and then shoots him. The marshals and cops hear the gunshots. They come running as the cop that was knocked out is now waking up with the gun in his hand looking like he shot the prisoner. The marshal comes in and arrests him. The prisoner now has a drawing on his chest. The marshals and the cops sweep the police station as Cataleya is using the vent system to get back to her cell. She makes her way, this didn't make any sense to me. She makes her way to the roof.
Right, up a brick wall.
Yes,
somehow she climbs a brick wall.
As the cops come to sweep the roof, she then runs and jumps off of the roof, but grabs a pipe and swings and presses her body to the building. A cop comes and checks, but because she's pressed along the building and she's wearing all black, they can't see her. Cataleya then pulls herself up and makes her way to another vent, and then drops down in front of her cell, pulls her action suit back down, puts back on her dress and wig, and plays the drunk woman sleeping again as the marshal and cops come to check on her. My question is, have these cops never swept a building before? Because any other time they start from the bottom and go up. Why the fuck did they start at the roof and go down?
I don't know.
They should have clearly known that she was not in her cell, because that would have been one of the first places they swept.
When you're looking over a ledge for someone, you should probably look over the whole ledge, not just like two streets down.
Yeah, like three quarters.
No. So this has been done so many times.
He did not check that ledge properly. No,
he did not.
Scene jumps to Ross, played by Lenny James, coming off of a plane, and he's meeting with the marshals to show him the prisoner's body. He sees the markings, and he sees it's from someone that he's been tracking. Scene jumps to Cataleya getting booked into the police station and still playing the drunk woman who is now sober, but she gets released as Ross shows up to this police station. He goes over the cell where the prisoner was being held and says he wants papers on everybody that was in and out over the last 24 hours and get me those surveillance tapes. Scene jumps to Cataleya making her way to some random locker that has a change of clothes. She changes her clothes and calls Emilio and tells him it's done. He then tells her that he has more work and that he's happy she's coming home to see them. Scene jumps to Ross talking to his partner about the theories on his killer. He says it's time to release the drawings from the bodies, trying to drum up some other leads. Scene jumps to a car pulling up to a very big house, and Agent Richards steps out of the car and is greeted by Marco. They have small talk, but he's there to see Don Luis. Richard shows Don Luis the newspaper with the drawings, and Don Luis remembers that it used to be a kill sign of one of his men, Cataleya's dad. Richard tells him that the CIA relocated him for info, but Don Luis has been slacking behind, but he says, I'm not behind this. So Richard says, find out who is, and leaves. Marco comes in, and Don Luis knows it's Cataleya, and she's trying to send a message to them and tells Marco to go fix his mess. Scene jumps to Cataleya back in Chicago, and she is back at her apartment, and she starts to unwind a little bit because she has a killer ass security system. So she starts dancing around and having a good fucking time because she knows she is secure right now.
The dancing was great, man.
She was awesome.
It was a fun scene.
Yeah. Scene jumps to Ross debriefing some other agents on what he's found so far. He hands out some folders, and he says he wants to know the past 10 years of every person in this folder, and that he needs to catch this killer before he kills again. He doesn't know that the killer's a female, so he keeps saying...
I love that. I love that misogynistic line. I need to catch him before he kills again.
There's even one part that he was like, killer can't be a female. Not possible.
No,
and I was like...
Not possible.
Scene cuts to a man arriving at his apartment, and he's going to use his keys, but the door is already open. He goes in, and Cataleya is waiting for him. She goes by the name Jennifer.
Okay. I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
If you come home and your door's open, what do?
Pull my gun back away and call the
cops. Why do they always go and search?
She cuts the light on and runs up and kisses him. They have small talk, but nasty scene. Scene jumps to the next morning, and Cataleya sneaks away quietly. Scene cuts to Emilio pulling up on his motorcycle to a laundromat. He starts some laundry, but he's really there to talk to Cataleya. He goes over her next job. He then confronts her about leaving her kill sign. He says it's not just dangerous for her, but for everyone. But she reminds him that this is her choice and no one else's, and no one's going to change her mind on that. Scene jumps to Ross looking at the kill sign, and a man that's dropping off mail informs him that it's a flower, and that it grows in Colombia, and that the name is Cataleya. He digs a little deeper and finds its homeland, and then tries to dig a little deeper than that, but access denied by the CIA, and he believes he has some sort of breakthrough.
So, you know, the guy who told them about the flower, do you remember who he was?
He was like a male guy.
He's the janitor.
Okay.
The janitor broke the case. I love that.
Scene cuts to Cataleya feeding her very well-trained dogs. She talks to another one of her uncles as she goes into a safe and pulls out some money and a passport. Scene jumps to a lady laying on a very cool see-through floor with sharks swimming underneath it. I will say that this lady looks like Amy Winehouse.
That's very true. She's got poofy, that classic look.
Poofy hair. She looks just like Amy Winehouse.
That 60s look?
Yeah.
But when they showed this glass floor with sharks underneath, I was like, oh, something horrific's never going to happen here.
The house is full of women and guards, but also Cataleya's target. As the target goes to party with the women, he tells the security to make sure that they're shut down extra tight, and the security guard says, yes, sir, and extra guards show up. But Cataleya rolls from underneath the van that they pulled up in. As the guards are watching out, we then see the shot that everybody knows from this movie. It is Cataleya in the floor swimming with the sharks.
Yeah.
It's a sick scene. And to be honest with you, it is probably, like I said, the most remembered shot of that movie. Because it was so memorable.
It was like the poster for the movie.
You're right. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And you know what she does next? She lifts up a panel of the glass.
That's my line. That's my line. She then slides a panel out and climbs out of the shark tank. She then
bullshit. That panel probably weighs more than a fucking manhole.
They were not small panels. They were huge.
Man, and that glass is like 3 inches thick. Glass is not light. Yeah, apparently she has just really good upper body strength. And if you're in the water and you can't touch the floor, how are you pushing that up?
How are you doing that? Yeah, no. She pulls her gun and puts a suppressor on it and begins to look for her target. The target then wakes up in the middle of all these women with the kill sign already drawn on him. He gets out of the bed and finds his guards dead. He grabs one gun off of one guard and another gun off of another guard as he's making it through this very large villa. He then steps out to where the see-through floor is and sees a Cataleya, the flower, laying there. He picks it up. He smells it. Cataleya, sitting in a chair behind him, tells him to turn around. He goes to shoot at Cataleya, but she's emptied all the mags already. She then shoots him in both legs, bringing him to his knees, and he begins to plead. He says, "What do you want? What do you want from me?" She goes, "You're right where I want you," and shoots him in the shoulder, knocking him into the water, and these sharks have a little snack.
Wow! I did not see that coming.
Scene cuts to Richard, and he is looking at the paper with Cataleya's work on front page. He gets a call from Ross. He tells Richard that he's trying to get some info, but keeps getting blocked by the CIA. Richard cuts him off and tells him to file a request and he will get back to him, and hangs up in his face. Scene jumps to Marco, now arriving in Miami, and he gets a call from a very pissed off Richard. He says that the FBI is now up his ass and that he wants the problem taken care of fucking yesterday, and Marco agrees. Marco then gives the instructions to one of his henchmen to question every Colombian they see until they get information on Cataleya's family. Dude.
Question every Colombian
in Miami.
In Miami. How much time you got?
Dude, they should have been there for 15 fucking years looking for her.
That's why we don't have a sequel. They're still questioning.
Scene jumps to Cataleya, and she is at her male friend's place once again, but he's out of town. But she decides to wait for him. Scene jumps to Ross, and he's going over the security tapes, and this is where he says that it can't be a woman.
It's not possible.
Not possible.
Not possible. What a douche.
Scene jumps to Cataleya, and her male friend has now come back. She tries to make nasty scenes with him, but he wants to talk. He says he wants to get to know her a little bit, but Cataleya isn't very forthcoming. But of course, they make nasty. Scene jumps to the next morning, and he
nasty.
Hey, fuck you, man.
What were they doing? Bumping uglies?
The southbound get down.
Come on, man. Oinking and boinking? Come on, man.
Shut up.
No, shut up.
Scene jumps to the next morning, and he's making her breakfast in bed. But he also snaps a little picture of her before he wakes her up. She freaks out because she's overslept. She jumps out of the bed, she gets dressed, and she leaves. Scene jumps to Cataleya, meeting Emilio in a bookstore, and he is pissed because he sees the paper with a story of 8 people dead, one being his friend. He knows it's Marco searching for Cataleya. Cataleya tries to play it off, but he cuts her off. He says, "No more work. You're fucking retired." She tries to pull at his heartstrings about his son's death, but Emilio says he prayed that she would stay away from this life because none of her family has ever had a chance at a regular life. He says, "You know what? Stay away from me, stay away from my mother," and gives her a picture of her parents and says, "I hope this reminds you of who you are," and walks away. That scene was very powerful because the one person that is very big in Cataleya's life, they don't depict it very often, but the person that is very big in her life is her grandmother.
You know, for an action movie, this is the second time that there has been a real emotional moment.
Right.
In this movie. And you have good actors. I mean,
yes.
you have good actors in this movie, and you don't get that a lot in action movies.
This scene was played out beautifully because it was an unknowing Zoe walking into a pissed off Emilio, and then the whole thing, he's pissed off, and she starts to get emotional and cry, and then you can see when she brings up his son, he fights back tears. Yeah. He fights back tears in this. Very emotional, very good scene. Very good scene.
Very family oriented.
Scene jumps to Cataleya's male friend bragging to his friend about her, and he shows him her picture. He then steals the picture off of his phone and sends Cataleya's picture to a woman who works in a police station so that she can run a background check on her. But this is a huge fucking mistake because as she's running this background check, Ross can also see the track being made and tracks it back to a police station in Chicago.
You know what's a huge mistake?
Huh?
Being a guy creepy enough to take a picture of a woman sleeping.
You know what's even creepier than that? Being the friend who has no attachment to this woman, stealing her picture and then getting a background check run on her. That's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Scene jumps to a church, and Cataleya comes in, and she sits down next to her grandmother, who is very, very happy to see her, and an Emilio who is not so happy to see her, while Mass is going on. After church, Emilio drives him and his mother home. When they pull up, Marco and his henchmen are already watching from across the street. Scene cuts to the woman running the check, and the FBI is now on her computer, and Ross is going over the picture of Cataleya closer and is able to match her to the woman in the security tapes from the police station. Scene jumps to Cataleya calling her male friend, but his phone is now being tracked by Ross and his team. They listen in on the conversation. Ross pins down Cataleya's location and tries to swat her. The male friend reveals that he has a picture of her and he showed his friend. She goes to check her cameras because she realizes this is not good and sees the SWAT team pulling in. As Ross and the SWAT move in, Cataleya grabs a set of keys and her gun, and she makes her way out the door. This whole scene, she is doing in a t-shirt and booty shorts.
And I don't hate it. I really don't. I'm okay with it.
You're a sick man.
Not really, no.
No. I would say that normally. This was a hello nurse moment. This was a hello nurse moment.
Yeah, I am a sick man. But no. She looked amazing.
The SWAT moves in by stairs and elevator as Cataleya makes her way down another stairwell. SWAT makes their way to Cataleya's apartment. Cataleya makes her way to another floor and has a set of keys to another apartment. She opens the door. The man in there says, "Hey," and she knocks him out.
Dude, he's obviously a stoner. And he's just sitting in his living room.
Minding his business.
And he's like, "Hey, what's the big idea?" And she grabs him by the back of the head and slams his head into the coffee table and knocks him out.
She then makes her way to his bathroom. She removes a tile from the ceiling and pulls out this big ass sniper rifle and this gadget belt. Yeah, and this gadget belt. The SWAT team is placing charges to breach her apartment. Cataleya places charges on the bathroom wall and waits for the SWAT to breach her apartment so she can time the blast sounds and blow this hole in the wall. I thought that was smart as shit.
Mm-hmm.
SWAT finds that the apartment is empty, and Ross says to lock the building down. Cataleya uses the cables from the elevator to slide down and make her way to the parking garage. Ross's partner is watching the cameras while on the radio with Ross to see if they can see Cataleya, but she shoots out two of them in the garage and her partner sees it and Ross tries to send his men. Cataleya goes through another vent as the men get there. Cataleya goes one way and the team is sweeping the garage. She climbed through so many vents and she is so nimble.
She's
holy shit.
I understand her nickname is Cat, but she is cat-like. Her movements are so fluid. Like
she doesn't miss a beat.
She can crawl through a window and it looks like you're just walking down a hallway. Like it is amazing to me how fluid her movements are.
And calling back to the beginning of the movie where you pointed out where she was like, you need to pack your things. She was like, I'm already packed. You can tell Cataleya was set and ready to go if shit hit the fan. She knew which room she had to go to. Oh. She knew which room had her sniper rifle, and she didn't miss a beat.
Constantly prepared. Always has an exit plan. Always has an exit plan.
Fantastic. That is, and that is a small detail that you don't necessarily find in action movies. It's usually what I would say is like controlled chaos. They always find their way out of like some kind of bullet storm. She avoided bullet storms as much as possible.
Oh yeah,
which is the smartest thing. Yeah,
to the point where it's not like you didn't notice it. Like it's obvious.
Yeah, she's a step ahead of everybody.
Right,
like, literally.
Exactly. That's a great way. That is a great way to put it.
Scene jumps to Cataleya going to Emilio's home, where she comes in and she finds. Oh God, Shakes is about to lose his mind. She finds a half-smoked cigar, and she pulls out her gun and searches the house. She finds her grandmother dead. She then finds Emilio tied up to a chair, dead. She then begins to cry. Scene cuts to Ross, and he's looking at the flower again. He then goes and gets food, and then goes home. He goes to warm up his food, and hears a gun click. It's Cataleya behind him. She makes him sit in a chair that she's rigged with pressure explosives, and they talk. Cataleya tells Ross everything about her background and how she was trying to get them to put the kill sign in the press, but they took so damn long. She then shares that they killed her grandmother and Emilio, and she wants Ross's help, but he says he can't because he can't access any info. Cataleya says, well, you need to try harder, and looks at a picture of his family. She then tells him this is sick. She then tells him that he will go to a funeral once a week, meaning she will kill a member of his family every single week until he's the only one left.
And I believed her.
Yes. Yes.
I swear to God, I believed her.
And she says it in such a way because she says, you're going to help me do this, or I'm going to make you feel the pain that I've felt for so long. And you have to think, the pain that she's feeling is she is the only member of her family left. Father dead, grandmother dead, mother dead, uncle dead, other uncle dead. She is literally the last person alive.
And Theo took her in and you could clearly tell he was tortured to death.
Yeah.
It was gruesome, man. So she's at this point, she's one step ahead, and she also has nothing to lose.
Yeah, she's pissed off too. Yeah, very pissed off. Scene jumps to Ross meeting with Richards, trying to get some more info, but Richards is, of course, stonewalling him again. Ross tells him that he's met Cataleya and that she is no fucking joke, but Richard just brushes him off. As Ross goes to leave, Cataleya calls him. Ross tells Richard that if he doesn't give up the info, she's going to redecorate his office with his head. He then tries to act all big and bad and says she can't shoot through the glass. So she does. Straight through the glass and pings a picture of his face. If you didn't notice that, she shot his face in the picture. Fantastic.
In the head.
Yes.
In the picture.
Yes, so good. So, seeing this, Richard sings like a bird and gives up the address of one Don Luis. The funniest thing is, Ross presses his body against the wall and she fires the shot. He gives up the info and then he goes, she says she would like you to keep this strictly confidential. And he goes, without a problem.
You got it, buddy. I would rather nobody know about all the shit in my pants anyway.
Yeah,
so,
no shit.
If we could just keep this between us, that would be cool.
That'd be perfect, thank you. Scene jumps to Cataleya, and she's packing up her big guns in this armored truck, and she drives off. Another small part that is important that I couldn't figure out how to squeeze in, so I just figured I'd talk it in, is she doesn't put her dogs in the armored trucks, but she looks at her dogs. Just kind of keep that in the back of your mind.
Yup.
Scene jumps to a man walking into his office, and Cataleya is sitting there waiting on him. She said she needs the floor plans to Don Luis's villa. But the man says, I'm going to call the police. But Cataleya pulls out a gun, and he just puts his hands up. And there go the floor plans. Scene jumps to Marco giving orders to the henchmen on how to protect the villa. As Don Luis is sitting there listening to the plans, we then see this rocket come flying in directly at Don Luis. He sees it coming, he dives out of the way, and the rocket hits the wall behind him. Now, he's sitting in this chair, maybe 20 steps away. Not very far.
That's a little excessive, but yeah, I'm letting you talk.
We'll give it 20. And
okay.
This rocket comes in and hits the wall that was 20 steps away behind Don Luis. It explodes and makes this massive explosion, but nobody dies.
No one. Not one person.
Not even Don Luis. Nobody dies.
I'm pretty sure that was a load-bearing wall, too. So,
thank you.
No, everybody walks out. It's almost like not a scratch. Yeah, that was a close one.
Marco and his henchmen wake up Don Luis and try to pull him to safety. As henchmen get to the car and try to find Cataleya, so they get in the car and they just drive off without Don Luis. But Cataleya rams through the wall with her armored truck and crashes into the car. She then hops out of this crashed, crushed up, fucked up car and then lights the car up and kills the men.
She excessively shot that thing
They were
up.
Clearly dead.
And she just kept shooting.
Marco then moves Don Luis and hides him into this trap room behind a statue. And he goes to fight Cataleya. Cataleya is under the house somehow and starts shooting at the floor above her where some of the henchmen are. Marco and a few henchmen take cover. One of them then tosses Marco a grenade, and Marco then throws the grenade at the ground and blows a hole in the floor in an attempt to see Cataleya. But she's already gone. Some henchmen then go into this hole looking for her. Just as Marco thinks the coast is clear, Cataleya opens up fire on some of the henchmen that are in the hole. But she was under the house and then somehow ended up on the second floor balcony with 2 SMGs and is unloading this shit badass style. She looked so sick unloading these SMGs too.
I love this movie. I really do.
It has weird holes in it, but boy, is it good. Yeah.
Man, I do joke on it, and I did say in the beginning it doesn't have a lot of action. It doesn't matter. The story is solid.
Yes. Most of the henchmen die, but Marco and a few others are taking cover along the support beams of the house. She then drops the SMGs and pulls out her sidearm. Marco and another henchman try to return fire, but Cataleya runs into cover. Marco and another henchman run off, and one stays behind to fight Cataleya, but she is now from the second floor balcony directly next to him and shoots him in the face.
I mean, we saw her climb up a brick building.
This is true.
I mean, the girl...
It's insane. She's amazing. She's amazing.
Apparently.
Steven Seagal could never.
No. Van damn it, she could not.
Marco and another henchman are running into another part of the villa. The henchman waits for Cataleya as Marco runs and hides in the bathroom. But we hear gunshots, and Marco then preps himself to fight, but he's out of ammo. Cataleya comes in, gun pointed. Marco then grabs the gun, and they begin to fight. Marco gets the gun away from Cataleya. She throws glass in his face and then picks up a towel. She wraps the towel around his wrist with the gun and wraps it around his neck and starts to choke him, but he grabs her hair and tugs on it. She lets go, and then she tries to gym locker room style towel snap him. I don't know how to put that.
You know, my favorite part about this scene is it's a gunfight with no bullets.
Yes, it really is. As she tries to do this gym style towel snap, he catches it. So she rolls herself into the towel, punches him a few times, rolls herself out of the towel, kicks him a couple times, and then pushes him against the wall, and then starts Rocky Balboaing his ass. I mean, she's just landing shots. She is boxing. She's body, head, body, head. She's putting in punching bag hours, right? But Marco uses his strength and pushes her off. But she wraps the towel around his neck and starts to choke him out again. But Marco pushes her off and starts to fight back. He goes for the gun, but Cataleya kicks it away and then kicks him in the balls. They exchange a few more times, and he somehow wraps the towel around Cataleya's neck. But she then takes off her belt and wraps it around his neck from behind her, swings him around, gets herself free, and then kicks him. And Marco tries to grab Cataleya, but she uses toothbrushes. Yes, toothbrushes to fight back and stab him away. It was like she was using them as knives, but they're not stabbing him. They're toothbrushes. She then knocks him down. He goes for the gun, but before he can get a shot off, Cataleya runs up, drops the mag out of the gun, disables the gun right in his hand, and then stabs him in the neck with the slide.
My God. It was the greatest gunfight without a single shot.
And I'm like, this is so far left field, but it was really good. It was so shot good. So well.
I killed him with a pencil. Yeah, well, I had a toothbrush, bitch.
Yeah, she would have gave John Wick an ass whooping, dude. Don Luis comes out of this trap room and then makes a run for it to get to this van. Just as he thought he got away, he is stopped by a dump truck collecting trash in the middle of the road. He then gets a call from Marco's phone. He answers it and says, "Marco?" And then Cataleya says, "No."
Hello.
Cataleya says, "No, it's me." And he says, "Did you ever think you was really going to get to me? Like, you will never get to me." But she has her very well-trained dogs in the back of this van and says, "Eat."
Eat.
And the dogs have a nice fucking treat. And in this moment, Cataleya drops to her knees because she has finally had her revenge.
Yes, she has fulfilled her lifelong dream of murder.
Murder. Scene jumps to Ross questioning the male friend, and Ross goes to grab him some coffee when Cataleya calls the male friend. He gets some real truth out of Cataleya, but she has to hurry off the phone because they're, of course, tracking it. Ross tries to snatch the phone out of the man's hand, but she hangs up, and Cataleya slips away from Ross once again as she boards a bus, and the movie ends.
Riding the bus out of town.
I gotta say, man, we poke fun at a lot of movies and stuff like that, but while I was watching this, I was like, this movie is still super solid. This movie is still very well written. It's very well written, very well shot. Yes, there are holes. You probably won't notice them. That movie flows perfectly. Zoe, I mean, I can't offhand remember anything else I've seen Zoe in except these Verizon commercials lately. But I remember this movie. Like the back of my hand, man. This one is solid.
Yeah, I forgot how good it is. Even though we do a lot of action on here, and it was more of a drama than an action. Although the action was pretty on point. Maybe we should look into this some more. I've had a lot of fun doing this one as well.
Yeah, no, this one was real fun. It's a good palate cleanser from fucking Hard Target last week. Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. I'm still picking Van Damme out of my teeth on that one. All right. Thank everybody for listening. You can listen to us on YouTube. You can listen to us on iHeart, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, Spotify, Podcast Addict. You can listen to us on Facebook, TikTok. Reach out to us. Love you guys.